proud product of our Fontana schools and have grown up in this community. It was at Tokay Elementary where I became inspired to become a teacher. And for almost a decade, it has been my honor to serve in public education as a first-generation teacher. I have served over 1,000 of our Fontana students at both the middle and high school levels. I have collaborated with hundreds of our Fontana teachers and currently mentor the next generation of teachers at the University of California, Riverside.
My name is Dr. Jennifer Quesada, and I am running for Fontana School Board.
I have sat in the same desks as our students. I have written lesson plans.
I have both laughed and cried with our students. I have worked closely with our Fontana community. We are resilient. My heart is dedicated to our school.
My focus is on student learning and ensuring teachers and staff have the resources they need.
It is time we have the perspective of a former Fontana student and Fontana teacher representing our schools. That is why I am running to serve on our Fontana School Board.
I stand with our Fontana teachers, the same teachers who spent countless hours for me and who are now spending countless hours planning for distance learning.
I am who I am today because of you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fiorella Palacio, and I am an Alder and A.B. Miller alumni, graduated class of 2019. I am currently a second year at UC Irvine studying political science and criminology, and I proudly support Jennifer Quesada for the Fontana School Board.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kayla Ng. I'm currently graduated from Summit High School for the class of 2020, and I'm now a first year at UC Irvine. I'm going in as an economics major, and I'm switching to a business major to get my MBA. And I proudly present Dr. Jennifer Quesada.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to thank all of you that are tuning in live to our live campaign kickoff virtual event. I want to thank all of you that are watching this replay. And I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Dr. Jennifer Quesada, and I am a proud product of our Fontana community and our Fontana K-12 schools. I've grown up in this community my whole life. I first attended Tokay Elementary, and it was in 4th grade where I became inspired to become a teacher. Then I attended Sequoia Middle School. I also attended A.B. Miller High School. After A.B. Miller High School, I decided to continue on and become a teacher, and I studied English literature at Cal State San Bernardino. And I became very lucky and privileged to enter the profession at Sequoia Middle School, where I began my teaching career. I taught 8th grade language arts, and then from there I taught at my own alma mater, and I taught at A.B. Miller High School. And after teaching at A.B. Miller High School, I decided to become an instructional coach at Fontana Unified at the district level. I worked with our 6 through 12, and I had the privilege of working with our 6 through 12 English language arts teachers. And where I'm currently at the University of California, Riverside, where I work in the Graduate School of Education department, where I supervise and mentor a cohort of single subject candidates. So these are teachers, future teachers that are looking to earn their teaching credentials, and they're also pursuing their master's degree. So I'm very grateful, and it is an honor to be here. And a little bit about my own schooling after Cal State San Bernardino, where I received my English literature degree with a history minor and my teaching credentials. I waited a few years to get some more experience before I pursued my master's in educational administration with an administrative credential at the University of Redlands. And just recently, I'm a proud graduate, class of 2020, where I graduated from USC with my doctorate in educational leadership with a focus on leading instructional change. So it is an honor to be here, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for your time, and I'm looking forward to serving this community as a school board member someday. So let's get started. So I really want to hear from our Fontana alumni. So first, if you guys would like to open with our opening question.
So, Dr. Jennifer Quesada, why are you running for Fontana School Board?
Thank you for that question, Kayla. So I'm running for Fontana School Board first and foremost because we are at such an amazing opportunity to protect our students and our staff and our faculty. So right now in this pandemic, the number one priority needs to be the safety of our faculty, our staff, our students. And as we prepare and we think of what will the reopening of our schools look like, and by no means am I saying that we're reopening tomorrow, but I'm saying that these conversations need to happen now with all stakeholders. I want to communicate openly with families, parents, guardians. I want to talk to teachers that I once taught alongside, and meet more teachers that I have yet to meet. Our staff, our custodial staff that are, also concerned about their own safety. And so just having conversations about what and when will it look like when we reopen our schools. And the next priority that I really want to focus on in this campaign is our focus on student learning. While we're in this distance learning, and I applaud all of our teachers, our families, our community, the sacrifices that you are making for your children, for the students, the teachers that just graciously just jumped into this online world of teaching that none of us signed up for. I myself have been teaching online since March, and we were all thrown in it together. And you just took this phase honorably and just went for it. And so I want to have conversations and say, how can we support you? And families and guardians that are concerned on, is my child receiving the education they deserve? What can we do more of? Are they receiving access to the internet? Do they have access to devices? And so I just want to have these conversations. And do I have all the answers? No, but I want to be approachable, and I want to be a listener and also an agent of change, because ultimately the safety of our students, our staff, our teachers, classified and certificated staff always come first, and also the focus of making sure our students are receiving the best education that Fontana Unified can bring for our students. We are more powerful together, united, and I want to be that voice that asks, what can we do to serve you? How can we help? So I would like to share a little bit about how the two of you know me. So please share what you guys would like about how we met and how maybe I've served as a possible mentor in your lives.
Of course. So even though Ms. Casado was never my teacher academic-wise, we were still able to build a friendship through involvement, through our mutual involvement in the A.B. Miller AVID program. She, at the time, was and still is such a friendly and approachable person that it made it super easy to reach out to her for advice. And I definitely looked up to her as a mentor, as you stated. And, you were very inspiring to me as well. Not only was she supportive of my academics, but she was also supportive of my involvement in extracurriculars, especially our A.B. Miller cheer program. Despite her busy schedule, getting her master's and her other job that she had besides as an A.B. Miller advisor and teacher, she was my partner for our annual Dancing with the Stars event. And, it's crazy to remember now, like in between busy schedules, she always made time for me, and she made time for all her students. So despite everything, she makes time for us. And sadly, I graduated. She went off to work for the district, and we didn't talk as much. But as you can see by my attendance here today, I can still count on her as a mentor just as much as she can count on me as a friend.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Fifi. And I remember those days when, we'd have our little dance practice in my classroom. We'd have to move the desks away so we could practice the choreography. And I remember at that time, fun fact, I used to dance for Disneyland. And so I was pursuing my master's at Redlands, and then I was a full-time teacher. And then on the weekends, I danced at Disneyland. So that's a fun fact. I don't do that anymore, but that's something fun to share with our viewers. So Kayla, share a little bit about our background.
Okay, so I've known Miss Quesada since 8th grade. She was my teacher for Sequoia Middle School. When she first walked in the classroom, I immediately felt like this lady owns the room. And then she was talking about all her achievements she's done and she continues to do. And I was entirely amazed by her being such a young teacher and still being there and being so full of energy and excited and enjoying exactly what she was doing. She made learning feel like an experience rather than a chore, and I admire her for that. Though after a while we lost connection for a couple of years, we reconnected in 11th grade when she walked into my English class and was mentoring a teacher in the background. And I noticed her and I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. And from there we shared what we've both been doing, and she was proud of me of what I've been doing. And all the AP classes I've been taking, and it just really made me want to strive for my dreams. And so she's just so inspiring. And after we've kept in touch, as you can tell from me being here in the live stream, and we both attended another one of her former students' plays and musicals. She's kind of like my best. And then that's when I found out that she was getting her doctors. And I was just truly inspired to continuously meet up with someone who is always doing more and more with her life and still having to go support her former students and be there for us. She's just choosing to do it. And she's just so kind and always there for us. So that's honestly just so motivating and made her a great mentor for me as I was growing up.
Thank you so much, Kayla, for your words and your kind words. It feels like just yesterday, right? We were at Sequoia Middle School, and I remember when I was a student there, and again having the privilege to teach at my former middle school, and how wonderful that we just ran into each other at Summit Middle School when I was with another teacher. It was when I was an instructional coach, and we were there to observe a teacher, and lo and behold, there is Kayla sitting there. She's like, Miss Casada. And so that was incredible that we reconnected after all those years. And that's such a, wonderful just to be able to have you both here today. And Fifi and Kayla, I wish you guys like the best of luck in your, pursuing your higher education. And both of you know that I'm here to support you. And you know that, yes, while I may have a busy schedule, I first and foremost, put our students first. And that is something that I have shown through my actions, through my years with Fontana Unified. And that is something that I hope that I can continue in this possible position as a Fontana School Board member, is to put our students first in our community. So to close out with our alumni, is there anything that you would like to add as we close out and we begin with our first guest speaker?
Well, I just wanted to say, Ms. Casada, thank you for having me. And also thank you for everyone that's tuning in today or is going to watch the recording later on. I just want to say I'm so proud of you, Ms. Casada, and I'm proud to support you for Fontana School Board.
Thank you so much, Fifi.
I'd also say thank you so much for letting me be here with you, and it's been a complete honor to just support you as you continue to strive for doing things for the Fontana School District. And I really hope that you just get like the biggest impact on students, because you always just are there for us, and it's like other students need to see that there's going to be somebody just as amazing in their school board. So yeah, I mean, you're always doing your best of your ability, and that's pretty much all I can say. So thank you for having me too.
Well, again, thank you. Again, it means so much more. That's why I really wanted to have alumni introduce me, because I can, come out here and say, this is who I am, but I feel so empowered by what both of you have achieved. And you just happen to be two voices that represent our community, and me as well, right? Being a product of our Fontana community and how much good we have to give this world. And I'm so proud to know both of you, and it's been an honor and a privilege. And I thank both of you for your time. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye, Fifi. Bye, Kayla.
Bye-bye.
So everyone, that brings us to our first guest speaker. I have the honor and privilege of introducing Nicole Robinson. So Nicole Robinson is the A.B. Miller Dance Director at A.B. Miller High School. And I was so involved in the Miller Dance program as a freshman all the way through my senior year. I remember when I first started, I started off in level 2, dance 1. I believe I started with dance 1, and then I had some dance experience, and so she bumped me up to dance 2. And I remember I was dancing alongside juniors and seniors as a freshman, and I knew some dance, but she really just developed my love for the different art form and really strengthening myself, not just as a dancer, but as the woman you see today. And I'm so grateful to have stayed in contact with her. And it is an honor to know her. And I still remember that there were endless nights where we had rehearsal late into the evening, practicing for an upcoming dance concert. And she was there. And yes, she had a family, but she gave so much from her heart and her soul. And I'm proud to introduce Nicole Robinson.
Hello, Jennifer. Hello. So glad to be here. This is so exciting. So exciting.
Thank you.
Just told everybody home, I'm like, I have to go have some very important business to do right now.
Yes, thank
glad
you
to
so
be here.
much.
So glad to
Wonderful.
be here.
So Nicole, I gave a brief intro, but feel free to elaborate. Tell us a little bit about yourself for our viewers that may not know who you are, or be familiar with the Fontana community.
Hi, I'm Nicole Robinson. I'm the dance program director at A.B. Miller High School. This is my 26th year at A.B. Miller, and I have committed myself to working in the Fontana community, but not only to work in the Fontana community, but to provide a high quality arts education to students. And that's been my mission in the district for the past 26 years. You may or may not have heard of the A.B. Miller dance program, but we are recognized throughout the state as offering a high caliber college preparatory dance education for students of color. And so it is something that I'm really, really proud of.
Wonderful.
I'm also married, have a daughter, live in Riverside, all that stuff too. But for the Fontana community, that's my connection.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Nicole. So I really want to focus on how this wonderful program that you've built from literally the ground up, because I know when I attended A.B. Miller High School, I knew they had this, legendary dance program, and I believe at the time there wasn't a dance program available in any other high school. And even when I shared with some of my friends in other cities, like, wow, you have a dance program where they're like, how much does it cost? I'm like, it's part of our public high school.
Right.
But just the caliber of the program, and it was, you treated us like professional dancers. You truly did. And I honestly, when I graduated and I pursued my English literature bachelor's, I had thought of minoring in dance because I loved it so much. And just, I was like, let me see where else, I could use this art form. And I always wanted to dance for Disney. I always wanted to. And I remember when I actually first applied for my first teaching position, that was when there weren't a lot of positions to go around. And there were a lot of budget cuts, unfortunately, when I first entered the profession of education. And so I went to audition for Disney, and no lie, like over 1,000 girls show up and they're hiring like 10 spots. And I went in, and the routine that they had us perform across the floors, some center combos, it was easy because of how you prepared me through those 4 years. And I was so grateful to have made it and actually was able to work for Disney. And it was so difficult for others to get into it. And I feel like while I had not considered working as a professional dancer, I was able to, and I was a full-time teacher at the same time. And through that program, I became so much more confident in who I was, what I stood for, how I spoke in front of others. And that really just led its way into my career as a teacher, because I do believe that sometimes it's a performance, right? As an educator, it's a
Absolutely.
performance, being up there and being confident and comfortable and, relationship building. And you just showed so much love for us. So I want to thank you for that, because I know I would not have been able to be where I am today had you not been one of those impactful educators in my life.
No, thank you for that. And I think that's one of the things about the arts that gets lost, is often folks think, oh, well, you're studying dance or you're studying music, so that means you want to be a musician or you want to be a dancer. But we don't ask that same thing of kids when they take math. You don't say to a kid, oh, you're taking a lot of math in high school, you must want to be a mathematician, right? We just think that that's all part of just learning math is part of education. And I would like to just push back and say, but learning the arts is also part of our education as well, because Jen, I'm looking at you and you're using all of those skills that we learned in the dance program. I mean, you are basically working the tech of this, this whole StreamYard thing. You're doing production. You've interviewed people beforehand. You've organized this whole thing. You're able to present yourself in public and be coherent and clear. And those are all things that are learned in the dance studio. I didn't never get an opportunity to public speak in my math class. And that's not to say that math's not important, because I use it all the time when I'm balancing the checkbook. Not that I have a checkbook, but just that idea of what are those other things that are needed. And so I feel like you're just a huge testimony to the power of the arts and what it does in people's lives. So yeah, I just am glad to have you as a student. Just absolutely.
Yeah. So if you feel comfortable sharing how, I know the program has just grown so much since I last left, because when I graduated, it was when we had, the junior company, we had a company dance, we had our 2 productions a year. So could you share a little bit about just how this program has continued? Because I remember when I taught at Miller, we had a second dance studio, and I was blown away by that. And so how has that program grown since I last left?
Well, the interesting thing about dance in Fontana is that A.B. Miller is the only comprehensive dance program, meaning that we offer sequential classes all the way from beginning up to advanced, so that a student could study dance the way that they study math or English for all 4 years. So in that respect, we're not well represented in the district. However, there have been some incredible things that have happened in FUSD over the last probably 7 or 8 years, and we have a couple of different things happening. We have the Dance Collaborative Pipeline, which I helped, I'm going to say I helped because my students were involved in it as well, that I helped bring into fruition. And it was just based on a need of my students talking a lot about they did not have an opportunity in dance when they were in elementary and middle school. And so they were trying to figure out how can we do that, because we provide music enrichment for students in elementary school. So they thought, how could dance be part of that? And so we sat down together and wrote a grant that was funded through the California Teachers Association for 3 years at $50,000 a year. And we developed the Dance Collaborative. And the sole goal was to get dance in elementary and middle school. So we worked with that budget for 3 years. And then the district approached me after seeing a need in the community on the local control plan, asking for more arts. And so they said, we would like to build this into the LCAP. And so then we were just able to explode. So one of the things I'm most proud of is Juniper Elementary has a full day dance program. So every student from elementary, from early childhood all the way through 5th grade gets an hour of dance once a week. We're also at Maple, Mango, Locust, Rubel, and also full day at Alder, which started this year as well. So what we've been able to do is create this pipeline. And one of the only, I shouldn't say one of the only dance CTE pipeline in the entire state, which is so incredible. And I just am so proud of Fontana for just taking a leap of faith on that, because dance, usually is the least understood of the 4 disciplines. So that's what we have happening coming into the high school. And then obviously at the high school with the second dance teacher, we've been able to increase the number of beginning level dance classes, which provides more opportunity for students. And so it is, like I said, it's been a great journey, and there's been an incredible amount of support. But, the arts are always having to fight for our seat at the table. So that continues, that always continues.
Yes. And to speak to the program, I dabbled in many things, and to speak to in the community, I remember you connected me with someone that was opening a local dance studio, and I believe it's no longer there, but that opened the door for me to offer maybe some local community dance classes as well. So I actually worked with the city of Fontana at Heritage Neighborhood Center for 7 years.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
offered very affordable dance classes, but they were not free like at the public school though.
Yeah.
And so I try to keep it as affordable as possible, offering some fundraisers for our 2 yearly concerts. But that is something that I'm so grateful for, because prior to A.B. Miller, my parents, they would, pay for my dance classes, but it's very expensive.
It's tough sometimes for some people. It's really tough. And so that's been the focus of the dance program at Miller, because the thing that we have to understand and we have to talk about is that communities that have a high population of students of color and maybe the socioeconomics of that community are low, they get very few arts related opportunities. And so that has always been my focus in terms of working in Fontana, is to provide the opportunity. We can't say that we're surprised that we don't see more people of color in the symphony or in the ballet, because I would push back and say, well, the reason why you don't see that is because no one's going into those communities giving those students the opportunities. So that for me has been a big part of A.B. Miller High School, is how can we provide opportunity? What is good for kids, and to continue trying to program what's good for kids.
Absolutely. And I'm even thinking there may be one that I can think, besides our local community centers where they offer some dance classes, again, for a fee. I don't believe there's any other really affordable access to dance in Fontana.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And there, you know, and again, it's unaffordable for a lot of families in our community, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an excess that we just can't, you know, that we might not be able to support with our own financial budget. So that's why I think it's so important. And like I said, for students like you, and you had the access, your parents were providing that, but you were standing side by side in that studio with other kids who had never been given the opportunity until they walked into that studio at A.B. Miller High School. And they were talented people, right? They just didn't know, right? You know?
I remember one of my classmates never danced until freshman year, and they got a scholarship for Alvin Ailey. I remember that. And and that, again, these opportunities, these doors that you may not have ever even thought were possible. And I love how you say, will they maybe be a professional dancer? Possibly, but that's not the only opportunity Miller Dance provides us. And many of my fellow classmates, they went on, they have their bachelor's, or they went into a trade. Many have their doctorate degrees, they become teachers. So there's a wide range of Miller dancers that are out there in the world.
Right. And the other idea of that too is, for many of my students, nobody had talked to them about what was next. You know, I can think of someone right now very close to my heart. I had gotten, you know, I have lots of students, and for whatever reason, I'd gotten into my head that she was a senior. She's actually a junior. So I generally call in my seniors and start talking about, what are your plans? And I called her in and I said, hey, what are you planning on doing? And she, of course, told me, hey, I'm a junior, which I was relieved because she's a great dancer. But then I said, well, yeah, but what's next? And she says, well, I think I'm just going to go to Chafee. I don't know. And I'm looking at this kid. She's got a 3.8 GPA. She's smart as whip. And I said, oh, no, sunshine. Let's talk about college. And to this day, she tells me that I was the first person in her life, so she's 16 years old, that said, you have a bright future. I can see the potential in you. And so for me, dance wins. Is she a dancer? No. But that conversation planted a seed and got her to a 4-year university and degree. And so for me, I feel like dance wins, because had that have not happened, had she not have been in my class, maybe she would have gone that pathway. And not that there's anything wrong with community college, but she was saying it in a way that I knew that if that's the direction that she went, she was going to be one of those statistics that never finished, you know? So how can we engage students? And really that is what the arts is all about, is student engagement and graduation rates, and getting kids excited about school. Right.
Yes. I remember a lot of my classmates, they were like, what, is it dance yet? Is it, because back then it was sixth period, right? Was there
right.
Like, is it sixth period? Is it sixth period? And we didn't want to go home. We'd stay for sixth period, and we blink, and it's 6 p.m. or even later for. And
I have to kick you guys out of the studio, right?
It was our home. We felt safe there.
Right. And so many kids every year will say, I only come to school for dance. I only do well in school because I know if I don't do well, I'm not going to be able to dance. And somebody might hear that and go, well, that's just terrible. That's kids, people. That's how kids operate. They need a hook. And we have to understand as adults, and adults need hooks too, right? We need hooks to be motivated and do things, but that's how kids work. So what are our hooks in this district, right? And to be focused on those kind of things.
Yes, absolutely. And I just had a wide range, right? Some from technology to the arts to academic, a wide range, which we have, and just to continue persevering and offering that for our students.
Right. And not to get caught up in a particular trend per se, you know, like, oh, all of a sudden now we're really focused on, you know, maybe computer science, or maybe it's solar, or whatever that might be. But to understand that there are always going to be those kids. They're going to be those kids that go to college. They're going to be those kids that go to trade school. They're going to be those kids that go right to a job. They're going to be those kids that kind of, you know, around for a little while. So how do we create an environment on our campuses that supports students and their interests, and also don't pigeonhole them into an interest either, right? Like, we want you to choose a trade. You know, it drives me crazy when I hear people asking 17-year-olds, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? I'm like, dude, if I was doing what I thought I was doing at 17 for the rest of my life, oh, woe is me, right?
Exactly.
You know, that is not, you know, at 17, you're just making decisions to get you on a track for a positive experience. That's what you're doing. You're not making life decisions.
Absolutely. And I love that you say that, because I would have never imagined the role that I'm currently in at UCR, where I actually have the time and availability to come back. I always pictured I want to come back to Fontana Unified, but in what capacity? And so if I had not been in this type of position that allowed the time for this, then I wouldn't be here in front of you today.
Right. And I'm so excited that you are, that you're doing this. Like I mentioned to you in our talks prior to this, I've worked in the district for 26 years and I've never endorsed, come out and forward and said, vote for this person for school board. But this for me was a no-brainer, because I know your work ethic, I know your determination, but most importantly, what I do know is your love for Fontana and your knowledge of the schools and the people that live in the community. Because for me as a candidate, that is the most important thing, because sometimes people get into these jobs and they want to come in and they want to fix everything that's wrong with the district. But I think you come in from a place of love and gratitude, and whatever you see that might be out of order, you tend to that with a sensibility of care and of loving, because this is your home. And so for me, this was a no-brainer. You know, Jennifer, you are absolutely what we need on this board, is a, you know, woman of color who has had the experience of being Fontana. You are Fontana Unified School District, you know, so I think that for me, that is, if anybody's watching this and you're unsure, please make that part of your criteria as you're looking at some of these candidates. What is their role in the Fontana community? What do they know about Fontana? How long have they lived here? Did they go to the schools? You know, all of those things are super, super important.
Absolutely. Nicole, your words mean so much. And I'm so grateful just to know you, just person to person, human to human, have had you as an educator. And I know that when I speak to those that are close to me, they say, oh, Jen, it's a no-brainer. You have the work ethic, you have the education, you have the drive, you have the passion, you have the heart. And I say, those that know me, they know that to be true. And that's why I love bringing the guest speakers, because I can say that all day. You know, pick me, vote for me, I'm the best. But to have the heart, it really shows through bringing in former students, talking to educators that are in our district. It's more powerful when those words come from them. And so I'm so grateful for you being here and endorsing me live, you know, on our live event. So I'm so thankful for you, Nicole. And I look forward to continue talking with you many years to come, and hopefully serving in this role as a board member.
Absolutely. You have my prayers. Absolutely. So I'm wishing you the best, Jen. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Of course. Thank you so much, Nicole. Have a good one.
Bye, you too.
Bye. All right, everyone. So again, it was such a privilege having Nicole Robinson here. So that brings us to our next guest speaker. I would like to introduce Jesse Serta. He is an ASB director here at Summit High School in Fontana Unified. He is also the cheer director at Summit High School. And I have the honor of introducing also the District 2 candidate for Fontana City. And I'm so grateful. It is an honor to know Jesse. This is another educator in our Fontana schools. And I'm going to bring Jesse in. Hi,
Thank
Jesse.
you so much, Dr. Quesada. It's an honor to be here today.
Oh, so wonderful. Well, thank you again for taking the time to join us on our live campaign kickoff. So I know there's so much more to say. So anything else you'd like to tell our audience that may not know who you are?
Thank you so much. Well, just good afternoon, Fontana friends and residents. As Dr. Quesada mentioned, my name is Jesse Serta, and I'm a candidate for Fontana City Council District Number 2. It's an honor to be here today with a fellow past Fontana student and teacher. We've worked in our communities, we've been in these classrooms, we've taught in these classrooms, and now it's time for us to step up as Fontana residents and give back to all of you through public service. So I'm really excited. All this energy and passion that we share is going to lead into the type of leadership and leaders that we're going to be for all of you. So again, it's an honor to be part of this shared vision, to have our school board and our city council working cohesively for all of our Fontana residents. And that's why we're here today, working together from the beginning so that we could build those roots for a better Fontana in the future. I, like Dr. Quesada, have a very similar background. I was a proud Tokay Tiger, proud Almeria Dolphin, and proud graduate of A.B. Miller High School. I was able to earn my bachelor's degree from Cal Poly Pomona and my master's degree from Claremont Graduate University. And like she said, I've taught for the past 12 years here in Fontana Unified. And I am the proud coach of the cheer team at Summit High School, who are national champions. And I always like to boast that because I do find success in the success of my students, like Dr. Quesada did as well. So we're so proud of our students and our community, because it continues to grow and continues to get better with every year. So I'm excited to give back through this new opportunity that we have. And we hope that we could get your support on November 3rd, because we're working hard for all of you. So thank you, Dr. Quesada, again for having me.
Of course, Jesse. And when I found out that you were running, I immediately messaged you and I said, yes, another educator, and Fontana, born and raised, gone through our schools. So I reached out and I said, how can I support you? Because I've known you, I've seen how much you give to our community, to our students, and your work ethic is second to none. You are so like a perfectionist, and it shows through your award-winning cheer team. And so I'm so grateful to support you, to proudly endorse you live on our Facebook event. And would you like to share a little bit about District 2 and where that kind of falls into for our voters?
Definitely. So if you're interested to know where District 2 kind of falls, it's up by Summit Avenue all the way down to San Bernardino Avenue. So it's the core and the heart of our city, and anywhere between approximately like Almeria or Citrus all the way to Sierra. So from Citrus to Sierra, from Summit Avenue all the way down to San Bernardino. So I call it the heart of our city, and we need to keep our city's heart beating. So I'm hoping that we can do that with our work, Dr. Quesada.
Yes. And so I love how we share very similar, besides our middle school, both of us are proud Tokay Tigers, and we also went to A.B. Miller High School. So just to speak to some of our similarities, so what were some of your memories just going through our K through 12 schools, or some educators that stood out to you?
You know what? One of the biggest educators that comes to mind right now was my band director. And again, we go back to talking about the arts and how it develops us as leaders. It truly does. Barbara Callie at A.B. Miller High School had a profound effect on me as a student, and even now as an adult, as she's one of my colleagues that I work closely with. But she definitely, as a student, definitely was one of my biggest mentors. And I always look back at those people who have affected my life the most. And it's definitely been some of our Fontana teachers. And Dr. Callie was a huge, huge impact on me and myself and my growth as a leader. So I definitely feel like that program, in terms of the music program and the performing arts at Miller, really created who I am today and pushed me to be a stronger leader for our community.
Oh my goodness, that's so wonderful. And I mentioned this earlier on in the video, but when I became inspired to become an educator was 4th grade. And Miss DiLeonardo, if you're out there, those of you that have a link to her social media, or I've been trying to get in contact with her for years. And I want to say to her, social distancing, of course, or a social media platform, that because of you, Miss DiLeonardo, I am here today. You inspired me to become an educator. Your love of literature and reading, and just, you were so kind. And it was 4th grade. I remember we were in the portables in the back of Tokay Elementary, right? Small little portable, but we make it work. We're smaller when we're 4th graders. And she had these bookcases, and we were able to go and pick our little chapter books to read. And again, and she also had a little treasure chest. We got tickets and could pick some really cool erasers. And I just really want to just get in touch with Miss DiLeonardo. So those of you that are listening, if you know where she's at or how I can get in contact with her, I would love to just have a phone call with her and say, because of you, you changed my life. And it's always that one educator, that
Absolutely.
one person that can impact your life. And you never know at what moment. And sometimes we don't get that opportunity to go back and thank our teachers. And so I want to use this moment, this campaign, to go back and thank Miss DiLeonardo. So stay tuned, viewers. I will make sure that I get in touch with her very soon.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes. So Jesse, tell us a little bit about what prompted you to run for City Council District 2?
Well, you know what? Right now, our city and our country is in a critical time where leadership really needs to step up to unify this city. And I think I could be that unifying voice. I've been involved in public service in the past and public policy, and it's always been something that's interested me, and I've always been involved with it. But I think now it's a critical moment for our city to choose leaders that can be mentors like you and I, that have mentored our youth, that have mentored even adults now that are in our communities, that we've had that impact on. And now I feel like it's time for us to give back in even a greater sense. So for me, my heart is in serving our community, and that's why I want to do it. So, and to that effect, we're going to have our signs up soon. I know I saw the signs for Dr. Quesada come up today. She is definitely proudly endorsed by our teachers union, which is amazing, having that support. So congratulations, Dr. Quesada, on that endorsement. But our signs are going to come up again really shortly. And I just wanted to talk about my signs and what they're going to mean to our community and to me. It's part of the reason that I wanted to run. And it's to connect our community with a lot of public services that are out there that our residents might not be aware of or might not know that they need. As a teacher, I find that our students are struggling a lot in our schools with mental health and anxiety and a lot of things that just are really difficult for them to deal with alone. And you're going to notice that when my signs come up, I chose the color on my tie. It's a bright green color, and it's my campaign color for a reason. I chose navy and bright green because the bright green is the color used to represent mental health awareness. And this month is Suicide Prevention Month. And with that bright green, I just want to give our residents hope that there are services and there are people out there who care about them and really want to make a difference in this community. So as you see my signs around town with that bright lime green, I wanted to represent hope for our city and our residents, and to make sure that they know that I want to connect our city to a lot of resources that are available to them.
Oh my goodness, Jesse, I'm so grateful that you mentioned that. And what a testament to have those selective colors so purposely chosen. And so how could viewers that are listening or watching the replay, how could they get in touch with you? How could they follow you and your campaign?
Thank you. So we do have an Instagram and a Facebook account. It's CERDA for City Council, CERDAFOR, and then City Council, all in one word, on Instagram and on Facebook. You can follow those accounts, and I'll be posting things for volunteers if you want to get involved. Really, it's going to take this community to support us so that we can make a difference in our communities. So on November 3rd, all of our friends, our families, our supporters, please don't just go out and vote. Grab 10 other people and take them to vote with you. That's what's going to make the difference. It's going to come down to a few votes. You know, every single vote in our community counts. And when we want to elect people that are going to have this work ethic like we do, second to none, that are going to be there for all of you guys, it's really going to take all of us. So we ask that you could please support us on November 3rd, but definitely log on, stay connected with us on CERDA for City Council. And if you ever have any questions or need some assistance, you can reach out to me through those accounts as well.
That's wonderful, Jesse. And I know we're going to be planning some events just to really support each other in this campaign. And again, I'm all in to supporting you in this run. And I'm really grateful to know you and just supporting each other, because being a product of our community from our schools is very meaningful. And all of the alumni and the families and the guardians that are watching, we're here to serve you, and we've been serving you. For myself, I've been serving nearly a decade in education. Jesse just mentioned 12 years, and that's just as educators. As students, we've been around since we were little ones, running around these parks, and you know, my childhood home is right down the street from where I live. So we live and breathe in this community. We shop here, we eat here, and we know this community, and we love this community. And what better way to give back is to serve you guys in this capacity, in my role as potentially being on the Fontana School Board, and Jesse serving in District 2 for City Council. So I'm so grateful, Jesse, that you're joining us today. And do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
We look for your support. Again, let's keep and make Fontana a safe and better place for all of our kids and our families. So that's what we're in for. We're going to be working together, Dr. Quesada, to ensure that. And I guarantee you guys, Fontana residents, we won't let you down. Whatever we've done, we've shown success through all of our past work endeavors. And this is something that we're extremely passionate about. So please, on November 3rd, go out and support Dr. Quesada for School Board and Jesse Serta for District 2 City Council. Thank you so much, Dr. Quesada.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, Jesse. It's been a pleasure. We'll be in touch. And so thank you so much for your time today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So for our next and final guest, we have someone that's near and dear to my heart. I had the honor of just meeting this individual in my new position at the University of California, Riverside, where I serve as a teacher educator. So what that position means is I teach the next generation of teachers, and it is an honor and a privilege. Currently, this is year 2 for me in this position, and I think it's wonderful because I'm able to have a flexible schedule. I teach one course a week. I hold some formal observations, but I'll be fully available to attend when it's safe to do so, of course, our school events. I'll be able to have time to respond and call and really be involved in our schools and be around and available for our community. And so I'm very grateful that I have a position at UCR that allows me to have that time. And I currently have a cohort of 18 single subject teacher candidates. So hi, those of you that are watching. So they are pursuing their social science credential, some of them, and some of them are pursuing their English language arts credential while also pursuing a master's in education. So it's just wonderful to be able to work with them and serve them. And I have my cohort of 18 teachers, pre-service teachers, for the whole year, and then they graduate next June. And so we've been teaching online, but we have to be flexible and we make it work. So for my next guest, I'd like to introduce, his name is Johnny Walters, and he just graduated class of 2020 at UCR. He received his single subject teaching credential in English language arts and also his master's in education. And he just got hired in his first teaching position with Capistrano Unified. So I'd like to introduce everyone, Johnny Walters.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Johnny.
That was an amazing introduction. I was like, oh, I am humble. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, you're wonderful.
Oh
So
gosh.
feel free, is there anything else that you'd like to tell our viewers that may not know who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Johnny Walters. A lot of people call me Johnny. I actually grew up in the Inland Empire, so Fontana, Riverside, Moreno Valley, San Bernardino area. It's all familiar to me. Just recently moved from that area, but nonetheless, I obtained my BA in English from Cal State Stanislaus. I just graduated from UCR with my master's in education and my teacher credential. I was in Jen's cohort, which is funny because I didn't think I was going to be in Jen's cohort, and then when they placed me there, it turned out it was the best experience I could have honestly asked for. But yeah, currently I am serving my first year as an English language arts teacher for 9th and 10th graders. Love my little freshmen and sophomores for the Capistrano Unified School District in Orange County. And so it's really been a journey. It's so much fun, honestly. I love what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness, that's so wonderful. So Johnny, feel free to share with our viewers a favorite memory that you have.
Yeah, my favorite memory, the first thing that comes to mind is during fall quarter 2019, because it's 2020 now. During fall quarter 2019, we were in the middle of completing our EdTPA, the state assessment, all of our finals for our courses, because we were also enrolled in, of course, with the teacher education program, we also were in a master's program. So we had all these finals and everything stacked up. And that night during our weekly cohort meeting, Jen came into the class, and we thought, okay, she's probably going to, kind of hit us over the head in terms of like, hey, like, let's get this EdTPA done. But I love the way that she planned it so well to where it wasn't let's only focus on EdTPA and on your studies as master students. It was, how are you doing as human beings? How are you doing as individuals? How can I serve you individually and really help you individually to be healthy, And so that night, I'll never forget, Jen was just like, you know what, let's really emphasize self-care and what that looks like right now. So self-care can look like resting, going home and taking a break, going home and, watching that film that you haven't watched in a while, and it was just a moment for me that said, Jen cares as much about us as students as she does for us as human beings, as individuals, and so it really showed me that she's not just about the book, because anyone can be about the books, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we need to take, yes, our exams are here, our TPA deadlines were approaching, but it was, let's take a minute and let's remind ourselves that we're humans, and let's remind ourselves of our why. And so that definitely is a memory that sticks out to me the most.
Oh my goodness, that's so wonderful, Johnny. And I'm so grateful to have met you. And I right away, just the synergy that we had, right, with our conversations and, keeping in contact. And, Johnny also serves as a mentor for my next cohort for a couple of the students in the new cohort. And that was all of your guys' idea. You guys wanted to give back, say, how can we stay in contact with each other? And I thought that was just a true testament of just the family that we created in our group, in our cohort. And I'm so grateful to be able to serve in this position as a teacher educator. And so for those of us that may not know what a teacher educator is, Johnny, could you share a little bit about what exactly I do at UCR? Because it sounds a little, some of our viewers, just so you know, I do not work at Fontana Unified anymore. I hope to serve and come back as a school board member, but I'm employed at UCR as of right now. So, Johnny, what does my role look like for those of our viewers that want to understand what I currently do?
Yeah. Simply put, I'm going to just be frank. Jen's role is to empower and equip the next generation of teachers to best serve their students wherever they're at. And she does a mighty good job at it. What I mean by that is we meet weekly for our cohort, and it's a year-long cohort, and she teaches us different teaching strategies, whether it be for classroom management, student engagement, grading, and it's all research-based. That's what I loved about Jen, was if it's not research-based, then why are we doing it? And she loved to push against and ask that question, why are we using these strategies that we currently use, and how effective are they? And it's something that I took into consideration then. It's something I implement now in my teaching strategies is, why am I doing this? And what do I seek to gain? Is this really serving students? And so Jen's job as a supervisor, to me, it's not just a job to Jen. It's her life. You know what I mean? It's her vision. It's her why she's doing this, why she chose to enter the education field is to serve students, serve the community. And as a supervisor, she's able to serve the community by raising up these leaders, these teachers who are eventually going to go into the classroom and who are going to implement these strategies and techniques that will better serve the students within our communities.
Oh, that's so well said, Johnny. Thank you so much for sharing that. And are those viewers that are watching the replay or watching live? So we partner with UCR. We partner with many different districts. I believe I was working with 7 different districts. So I had a few student teachers placed at Fontana Unified, but Riverside, Moreno Valley, Val Verde, Jurupa Valley. And what I love about this position, I'm able to see and connect with educators and administrators and staff, and just from a range of other districts outside of Fontana Unified, because I truly believe that, again, we're more powerful, united, and together. And so just having this network of just really people that are really passionate and care about the community and care about our students, and they put our students first. So I've been loving how I've been able to use this position to connect with other educators that I would not have had a chance to connect with, and to meet all of you as your beginning teachers in this field, to serve even after you've graduated, to still be a mentor for you. And I learned from you just as much as hopefully you learn from me. You're constantly giving me ideas, and I'm like, oh, I want to try that, or oh, what did you do? And so it's been so great seeing what you're doing in your classroom. And we just had a curriculum brainstorming session, right, about a week ago, and that was incredible. We were bouncing ideas about how to approach a certain topic with your students. And I live for education, and those that know me, they know that. And those of you that are watching, while you may not know me personally, I want you to know that I live and breathe education. I truly love it so, so much. And I first became a teacher because of my love of English, right? My love of literature. But as I grew and grew in more and learned more in this profession. I fell in love with every aspect of education. And do we have areas we need to grow in? Absolutely. And if we didn't, then that means we reached perfection. And there's no such thing as perfection, but there's ways that we need to become united and talk about what's best for our community, because we're different than Valverde. We're different than Moreno Valley. We're Fontana, and our educators, our students, our staff, they're so incredible. And I really do applaud. And earlier, Jesse mentioned how I proudly do have the Fontana Teachers Association endorsement. And it is an honor. I am so privileged and honored to share that I have that endorsement, because I hold this profession very close and near dear to my heart. And Johnny, I'm so grateful that we met, because I always say, like, you're stuck with me, right? Like, it's like our whole life. I'm like, till the end, we're going to be in contact. And yes, in this role, I served you as a mentor, but now I consider you a friend, and I'm so grateful for you. You know that. And I continually want to learn from you. I always say, watch out, world, because Johnny Walters will someday be Dr. Walters. I know you want to pursue and become a professor someday, and that will happen, because I see your heart, I see your drive, and I'm so excited. I always say, I'm like, I can't wait to see your journey. And I always tell you, this is just the beginning of your career. Because look at me, nearly a decade has passed. And if someone would have said, oh, Jen, where are you going to be in 10 years? If someone would have said you're running for school board, I would not have believed it. But you take a leap of faith and you believe and you say, why not now? Why do I have to wait till I'm older? Or why do I have to wait till I'm after, or I'm nearing retirement? If we want to make the change, and those of you that are listening, even if you're not involved in education, whatever you desire to be, whatever you desire to become, now is the time. In this world that is just a mess right now, be very honest. We need leaders to rise up. And even if you feel you're not ready, you are ready. You are ready when you want to be ready. And so, Johnny, I encourage you to keep persevering. And I cannot wait to see where you will go in the future, because you're going to make big changes, and it's going to be beautiful. Whatever you want to do, it's going to happen. And I'm excited to be alongside this journey with you together, and serving you and learning from you. And like I always say, reach out anytime, because I'm so incredibly grateful for our friendship.
And the sentiments are truly, truly shared. Like we always said, our paths have to cross again. We have to work as colleagues at some point or another within the future. So we got to hold each other accountable to that one.
Absolutely. So, Johnny, is there anything else you'd like to add as we close out your session for our guest appearance?
Yeah, just all of our listeners, those who are probably going to watch it later on, is I know it's tough to choose a candidate. You know what I mean? For school board, it's a very very tough decision, and it's one that a lot of consideration should be taken into. And so when it comes to your considerations for candidates, I just want to encourage you again, just like the other guest speakers have said before, is you want someone who has been a part of the community and who is for the students. And I know without a doubt, Dr. Jen Quesada is for the students. It's for not just for the students, but here to serve them and their individual needs and what they in their uniqueness. And I know this from personal experience, as she was my supervisor. She would tell me things about my students, she literally, it felt like she was taking my class under her wings while as I was trying to take my class under her wings. And it was such a beautiful thing, because she was showing me how to care for my students and different things that I had not even considered as a pre-service teacher. And so just our conversations and little things that she would do, it really showed that she's really here for the betterment of the students, here for the betterment of the community, and here for the betterment of individuals all around. And so it's such an honor to know you, Jen. Your work ethic, I know you like to praise everyone else about their work ethic, but Jen, your work ethic is bar none. I still learn from you. I'm going to continue to learn from you. You're still my mentor. Yes, you're my friend now, but you're still my mentor. I will always look up to you, and you're someone who is near and dear to my heart. And I'm praying and I'm wishing you the best. And I really do hope that you do get this position, because if anyone is qualified, it definitely is you, Jen.
Thank you, Johnny. Your words mean so much. Like, I already feel like just from these conversations I've had with Nicole, Jesse, my alumni, Kayla and Fifi, and yourself, Johnny, I already feel like I've won, right? Like, in my heart, I'm so glad that I've been able to just win through serving all of you in the capacity. So however this campaign and this election turns out, I'm so grateful for winning through my experiences of having met all of you. And I look forward to the future. I look forward to the challenges, because as I've shared, do I have all the answers? No, because as a board, we work together, and I'm not the one person that represents the board. There's a team. Yeah. And we need to have conversations and work together, and with the superintendent as well, and their vision for the school district, and talking to all of our stakeholders. So if anyone is, does she have all the answers? No, I will be the first one to say that's a lot of pressure, because we need to talk to our community and we need to talk to all of the stakeholders. So I'm just so grateful to be in this position, to have the time and the ability to run this campaign. It's been a learning experience, absolutely, because I'm a first generation student as well, a college student, and I've never been involved in politics. And so it's been a learning curve, but like I always say, you have to just go for it when you feel the time is right. And sometimes it's before you even expected. And so I'm really excited to serve you in this capacity, because I work at UCR, where there's a position that I have the time available to serve, and my heart desires to serve. And I love Fontana. I really do. I'm so grateful just even for this opportunity, for all of you that are listening or watching the replay. I'm so grateful for you listening to our message, and hopefully that, our time here together has allowed you to see a little snapshot of who I am. And I encourage you to continue, following Vote Gen Q on all the social media platforms. Visit our website, so that way you can really get to know me for who I am. And it's a big election year, and every vote, just like Jesse sort of mentioned, every vote truly, truly counts. And so I'm grateful for all of you. And Johnny, I'm thankful for your time. And like I said, we'll be in touch, right? We'll be in touch.
We will.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you so much, Johnny.
No problem. God bless. Have a good day.
Bye. So everyone that's watching live or the replay, that brings us to the end of our session today. I'm going to replay our campaign video one more time, that way in case you missed it at the beginning of the video. And I just really want to thank all of you for your time, for listening to this campaign kickoff. So this is the first of our official launch. Stay tuned for many more social media posts. Feel free to email me, contact me, and I'll share my contact information at the end. But I really want to thank all of you for just your time, because that is the most precious thing that you can give, and I'm very grateful. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with the campaign video and with some contact information on how you can reach me. But my email is votegenq@gmail.com. All of my social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please follow VoteGenQ so you can continue to get to know me some more, and also our website, votegenq.com. So really excited to get to know all of you and serve you. And it's a different election year, right? It's different being in a pandemic. We have to be safe. I might not be able to have, face-to-face conversations, but I'll be having virtual events where I would like to have a Q&A with many of you. So I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you and serving you in this capacity. So thank you very much.
I am a proud product of our Fontana schools and have grown up in this community. It was at Tokay Elementary where I became inspired to become a teacher. And for almost a decade, it has been my honor to serve in public education as a first-generation teacher. I have served over 1,000 of our Fontana students at both the middle and high school levels. I have collaborated with hundreds of our Fontana teachers and currently mentor the next generation of teachers at the University of California, Riverside.
My name is Dr. Jennifer Quesada, and I am running for Fontana School Board.
I have sat in the same desks as our students. I have written lesson plans.
I have both laughed and cried with our students. I have worked closely with our Fontana community. We are resilient. My heart is dedicated to our school.
My focus is on student learning and ensuring teachers and staff have the resources they need.
It is time we have the perspective of a former Fontana student and Fontana teacher representing our schools. That is why I am running to serve on our Fontana School Board.
I stand with our Fontana teachers, the same teachers who spent countless hours for me and who are now spending countless hours planning for distance learning.
I am who I am today because of you. Thank you.